Rye House closes its doors mid-season. Lakeside is told that there's going to be no stadium for them to ride at next year, and so they switch to Rye House this year. In the meantime, rumours abound that the BSBA have decided what happens next season. Could that be one big league, 2 regional leagues, 6-man teams, 5-man teams in the National League, no National League? I've heard all of these rumours and more over the past 2 weeks. Isn't it time for the BSBA to put us out of our misery? Only in Speedway. Hello, welcome to the Speedway Tavern. In the studio tonight we have Matt. Oh, where's he gone now? Has he lost his wallet? Well, anyway, we've also got Mr. Chris Brown.
Good evening.
You all right up there, mate?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm going to look down there. Yeah, I'm all right.
Have you got? You're getting a nosebleed up there, are you? I hope not. And least of all, myself, Richard the Snowflake Branson.
Oh yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So perhaps
more like
less,
Branson pickle.
Yeah, perhaps less said about that. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern on our amateur internet radio station. Also on tonight's show, we've got Laurence Rogers coming on to talk about next week's Peterborough versus Birmingham match. Some good riders signed for that. Could be quite exciting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try and persuade you to come along to it, by the way.
Okay.
So,
wish me luck, off folks. Quickly, Wendy Jane Barrett. I didn't forget the T-shirt draw last week, but we were dropped in it by somebody not turning up.
You forgot the T-shirt draw last week, did you?
I was dropped in it by somebody not turning up, so we ran out of time.
The minute I'm not there,
yeah.
The minute I'm not there, things just fall apart.
Yeah.
That's what you get for not having the snowflake. Right. Have I mentioned that enough now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Before we get started, we had a few comments up on already, haven't we? So should we go through some of those?
There was a couple regarding the show we put on before, the video we put on.
Right.
Well,
okay. Which was
Paul Wood commented, Robert Lambert, a flawed genius. Will he ever grow up? What a prima donna. A great racer, but he is getting as infamous as Nicky P. Is he going to take his mantle? No.
Is he going to?
Not for hard riding, but for battles with officialdom, fans, with his couldn't care less attitude, which often overshadows his great skills on a bike. Says Paul.
Right. So I've got to put a bit of a disclaimer out this week. Normally I'm up to date with what's been going on in the Speedway world, but it's been a bit of a difficult week for one way or another, but losing my wallet and all the rest of it. So I'm not quite as up to date on stuff as I would like to be. So can somebody clue me in to what we're talking about here? Because I've not heard anything about any problems with Robert Lambert. So if somebody could clue us in, that would be great. So I can't comment on it because I don't know.
Okay, I'm sure somebody will.
Yeah.
Also, somebody wanted to know what the meeting was. We weren't sure at the beginning, were we? But we think it may be the World Championship.
It's certainly a world final. I think it
world
might have been 1977, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, it was a world final. I'm pretty sure.
Older than me and you.
Ah, you wish. There is nothing older than you.
Craig said, did they have film back then?
Yeah. I was surprised it wasn't in black and white, but hey ho, hey ho.
Craig says, Ollie Olsen used to be next to us when I spanned at Coventry for the Bees. Nicest guy ever. I can imagine he was.
Yeah, spanned at Coventry.
Spanned.
Wow, that's a big span. Do you know what? It's difficult, isn't it? Because I was a lad watching Ollie Olsen.
Yeah,
I hated his guts.
Really?
Because I mean, a big Birmingham supporter, and that Coventry was forever coming, a bit like Cradley, forever coming to Perry Bar and beating us, and 9 times out of 10, Ollie Olsen would sort of get an easy maximum at our track. So it's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of them.
That's when riders weren't scared of a bit of water on the track.
Yeah, we mentioned that the track was in a right state, wasn't it? Well,
but that surely added to the fun and the whole.
I think there are two sides of it. I mean,
you couldn't do it now.
Well, you couldn't do it now, but I mean, nobody would turn up in that sort of. I'm talking about fans now. The fans wouldn't turn up out for it. They'd go. Part of that's because they'd think, well, it's going to be cancelled, because that's normally what happens when it rains that hard. But the other part is, well, it's going to be cold and miserable. Let's be honest, Speedway stadiums, by and large, are not the most, shall we say, salubrious.
Yeah.
It's one of the problems that I've always called us a second-hand sport, because we have to have hand-me-downs with stadiums and things like that. I still have hand-me-downs. We noticed, didn't want to say anything.
As soon as I get the wife's pants off later,
I'm gonna ban you in a minute.
Killing me, I tell you.
I'm gonna ban you in a minute.
I've just been told off by Paul as well. He says, that was great taking it off before we saw the end of the race.
Did you really?
Things to do.
That's terrible.
I had to get the dry ice ready for when you came in, the petals on the floor, all sorts of things.
I do apologise, but I know full well that you'll put that race back on after I'm giving you something to do now, aren't I?
I've lost it now. Yeah. Yes, right.
We'll try and put the race back on. Or he'll give you a link to it on the shout box. Would be another way of doing that.
And Ben T-Boy Clifton says, Michael, with all the different possible permutations, who do you think will join Mildenhall in the playoffs, with 17 teams fighting for 3 spots?
All right, so 7 teams fighting for 3 spots.
Do you need the?
Yes, I could do with that. I could do that. I would disagree slightly. I think there are 6 teams. I don't really think the Isle of Wight. I could be wrong.
20.
I know they got 20 points, but you've got Coventry in front of them with 3 matches less on 22 points. I think really the Isle of Wight. But all the way down to Coventry, including Birmingham. Okay, I don't want to say this. I don't want, but I'm being asked to. I'm going to my opinion. Right, put my Birmingham hat on. Yes, we can make the playoffs, but it's going to be so difficult. And it's very difficult to comment really how we're going to do it Plymouth, and how we're going to do it Mildenhall, and how we're going to do it Coventry. Bear in mind, Coventry's just beat us at our track.
Yeah.
In very trying circumstances, we have to say. It's difficult to comment on how we're going to do it, because I don't know what the teams are going to be. That's one of the vagaries of, we hope that we get good guests. I'm sure Laurence Rogers will pick the best people that are available, and that's obviously the key. It's going to be who's available. My guess is it's going to be Mildenhall, Kent, Eastbourne, and probably Bellevue. So the top 4 as it is now, that's my guess.
As it is then.
As it is at the moment. But we're in a great position when you look at that. We've got 2 meetings less than Bellevue and only 1 point behind, but all of our meetings now are away, and we've got to pick points up. And we needed to have got those 4 points at Stoke. It's a crying shame that we didn't. And all the misfortunes that befell us at that match. Why we should be surprised, given all the misfortunes that have 6 injuries this year, by the way. I counted. I don't think you get into the playoffs when you have 6 injuries.
Should Birmingham be approaching it, the fact that the meetings are away and they might be picking up points?
Would you like to repeat that?
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Well, I just think it's because we're so many riders down, we're having to rely on guests and so on. One of the vagaries of Speedway is this fact that we can't sign riders now after the cut-off date to replace genuinely injured riders. And I don't honestly understand why that is. Laurence Rogers is coming on later to talk about the Peterborough match, but I might well ask him about that. Because if we could sign some riders and we knew what our riders were going to be, maybe I'd be more confident. But because I don't know who we're going to have riding for us, and it won't be a Birmingham team, really. It's difficult to see how that. I mean, I haven't given up, and we shouldn't give up, and I'm pretty sure the riders won't. But it's just going to be difficult, isn't it? So you've got to say we're not favourite. Unfortunately, it's a crying shame because the team is better than that. But it's been decimated, and that's just there's no way of getting out of it. One of the vagaries of Speedway as well is that
you keep using that word.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I learnt it this morning. Yeah.
I want it with chips.
This is very hard to say, but it's true. And by the way, we all have to wish Callum Walker a horrible accident, and horrible injuries that he's got. Wish him all the best, and I wish that he was still riding in the team. However, you've got to recognise the fact that him being out has strengthened the team. It's because we can now have a guest for Daniel Hume instead of rider replacement for Daniel Hume. Rider replacement for Daniel Hume was never going to work. We got 0 points from that at home against Coventry. It was never going to work. But rider replacement for Callum Walker is not so disastrous. You're not losing 8 points. You're only losing 4 points. And because of the way the averages work, one of those rides that riders can take, one of his rides would be Liam Flint, so you're going to get points in that race.
I've been told we're a bit quiet, so I've just been turning the microphones up.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, there you go.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, that's answered that question. Yeah. Probably more fully than I intended. Yeah. There you go. We got any more?
Yep. Regarding to your introduction, BSPM, Alan says that they won't say anything about next year till after the AGM, surely. Calling you Shirley.
Well, my understanding, and this is just rumours, so don't take any of this as gospel. And I hear so many rumours, it's just ridiculous. I don't tell you most of them. That the AGM's already happened. That the AGM that will be called the AGM is sort of just a rubber stamping exercise, which is what happened last year. But there's two things to say on that. Last year's rubber stamping exercise didn't rubber stamp anything. I changed everything. Again, this is what I've been told. So we won't hear anything until after the AGM. Absolutely we won't. I just think maybe we should hear something. If they have, as has been said, made some decisions, then maybe we should be hearing something. I mean, what do you think?
By now there should be.
Would this happen in football?
No.
So,
but then again, only in Speedway.
And I hate people. So I've just done the thing that I hate doing. I hate comparing Speedway to football. You can't. It's chalk and cheese. And
we got told off on that on the forum, didn't we? Don't do that again.
No. Okay.
Don't do that again.
Sorry.
Very amateurish. They might tell us in February if we're looking.
Graham Weaver says they need to say something now so teams have time to sort themselves out. My guess is that the teams know.
Yeah.
So they know what they're aiming for. Paul Wood says they might tell us in February if we're lucky. I hope we'll hear before the new year. I think this is going to be a big, close season.
Yeah,
I really do.
And Mark says the BSBA have trouble rolling a ball down a hill.
I like it. Can I use that, please? I like that.
Ben Barker, Panthers diabolical.
Where was that?
I'm not sure what that's for.
Ben Barker for Panthers.
Top one, yeah, it's gone out now. That one.
I see what you're saying. So, because Ben Barker's going to be riding for Peterborough.
Yeah. And
of course, people really want him to ride for Birmingham. Well, we do. Peterborough obviously would like him to ride for them. I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit more when Laurence comes. It is what it if you like me want to see a higher grade of Speedway at Birmingham next year, then I suggest you get yourself down there, and which is the surest and best way of telling the management that's what you want. Plus, it's possibly going to be the last meeting this year, so and I think we should go there and say thank you to the management.
And Tom, I want to know who the guest is this evening.
Did we not say? I thought I said it right from the off. Yeah. Laurence Rogers is coming on at about, well...
He's probably only just joined us. He's probably been watching EastEnders or something, you know what I mean? You know what Tom has got
to. Talking of which, actually, do you want to see if we can... No, not the EastEnders. See if we can get hold of...
yes, I shall do that.
Lawrence.
Okay.
While we're waiting for you to do that, I'll have a little chat about the Stoke match and how disappointed I was not to win that, as everybody in red and yellow was. I was actually intending to go to the match, and then something happened of a family character, shall we say, which meant I wasn't able to. And it was quite depressing watching the results come over, because we were never in the match. Not from Heat 1 were we in the match. And you would have hoped with the two guests that we had, which was Danny Ayres and Mr. Armstrong, John Armstrong, who knows Stoke like the back of his hand. It would have been, we should have got something out of that match. If we'd have got the 4 points from that, I would be here now saying we're going to make the playoffs. Having said all that, if we did make the playoffs, I don't think anybody's going to bet against Mildenhall winning it. And given my previous stances on playoffs and the fact that I don't really like them, and that I think whoever wins the league should win the league, it would be some sort of... and we've got Leon Flint on the line here. Says it's the same every year with all the gossip on about dramatic changes. It never changes. Well,
no.
I can't disagree with that. We shall see again. It's the thing that I've always said is that if you create a vacuum, somebody will find something to fill it. And that's what's happening at the moment, is that all these rumours going on, some of which the Speedway Star have sort of fermented a little bit. And so, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. And, we're just getting hold of Laurence on the line, so I'm going to be doing some jiggling and pokering about now with the phone and the lead.
Sure.
This is.
Can I have the doofer?
You can certainly have the doofer. There you go.
Give me that in.
Yep, and I'll pop these on so we can hear what we're talking about.
And hopefully,
It's radio. Okay. I've got a bit of an echo on this.
I think you'll have to ask him to switch it. He's got it on.
Okay.
Ask him to turn it down.
Okay, Laurence, can you turn your radio down, please? Because we've got a bit of an echo going on.
I'll shut mine off then.
That's great. Thank you very much. So, here in the studio tonight we have Laurence Rogers. Welcome to the show again, Laurence.
That's fine, mate. It's good to be here.
Good. First of all, let's talk about an important match for Birmingham in 2 weeks' time, which is obviously the Peterborough match. And some quite exciting riders that you've got lined up for both teams.
Very much so, yeah. We've worked very hard at this. Something on that hopefully the fans will want to come and watch, trying to put two teams together. Many thanks to my mate Jed Rathbone at Peterborough, who's put a very strong side. He's missing Emil Grondal and Barry Wilson team, but brings in Mr. Barker, because naturally he wanted someone with Peterborough connections in the Peterborough side. As much as people said, why is he not riding for the Brummies? Well, Jed had already got him lined up from that point of view. But we've sorted not a bad little side out, and I'm not sure if Ryan's actually announced the addition we've added to it today.
If he has, I haven't heard, but I've just noticed that Ryan's actually on the shout box. So,
Is he?
yeah. So, Ryan, if you want to let us know, can we announce that yet? That would be nice to know.
It would be nice to know, because I've not had a chance to speak to him today.
Okay. So, well, I'm keeping my eye. Well, you're going to keep your eye on that for us, Webby?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, can you just... we've got 5 riders, I think, signed up for Birmingham at the moment. Would you like to go through them for us?
Yeah, there's Chris Harris, naturally, and our own James Shanes, Mr. Entertainment. We've got Sam Masters from Wolverhampton, who has come in for Rory, because actually Rory's been injured and unable to ride, but Rory's actually coming to watch the meeting. I asked him last night, he's coming down anyway. The mystery rider I can't announce yet at 4. We've got also another entertaining rider in Jason Garrity, because Jason rode for me at Coventry, known Jason very well. He's all action, and I'm sure the Cov fans will be there to watch him. And another ex-Brummie and, of course, ex-Craigie rider, so hopefully the Craigie fans will like this, in Paul Stark.
Fantastic. I mean, Paul was a very popular rider for us. He was one of the fast track riders when we was in the Elite League, and he's come on a bundle since then.
Oh, great lad as well. Another one who gives 110%.
So I'm just trying to have a look at our website while I'm talking to you to see if anything... there's been nothing announced on the website, I can tell you that, so that's a shame.
There hasn't. So watch this space then to announce the sixth Brummie for next Wednesday.
Okay. Can you give us any clues? Is it somebody with a Brummie connection, or...
Someone with a Midlands connection, that's all I'll say.
Okay, I'm trying my hardest.
Hopefully that will interest Midland fans.
Okay, fantastic. Now, obviously, it's been said that there's been no decision made about where we may or may not ride next year, but I'm guessing you're hoping that there's going to be a few fans turn out for this to sort of perhaps make that decision more difficult.
It is, yeah. No one knows what the structure is going to be like next year. I attended the BSPA meeting the other week, and there's nothing decided, despite what people think. We're not allowed to say anything. Of
course not.
The risk of being fined again. But there's nothing decided. We're looking at all the aspects of it. I came back from that meeting and had a long talk with Peter and David, and one of the things we came out with, well, why don't we do an interleague challenge just to test the water and see if that attracts the fans, because we know there are Birmingham fans who don't like coming and watch National League racing, which is a pity. It's brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that it is brilliant, and I know that from personal experience that there are, because my dad won't come and watch National League Speedway. It doesn't matter how many videos I show him.
I wouldn't talk to him again then.
I try not to be fair, but yeah, there you go. But I mean, it's obviously that's anecdotal, but it does show that there is that side of it going on, and it's a shame, but. Yeah, there you go.
It's just a pity from our point of view is that we've only got one current Brummie and James Shanes in there. Daniel was down to ride in it. Leon, unfortunately, is not old enough to ride it, because although he can ride in National League, he's not old enough to ride against the big boys in the Championship League. I'm sure he would held his own.
They're scared he'd beat him. That's all it is.
Exactly, they're frightened.
So. I had a lovely question lined up, and it's just disappeared out of my head. Oh, of course, would really like to know actually how Daniel is and how Callum is. Right,
Daniel actually messaged me today. He's due to an operation this week now on the collarbone, which will speed things up for him. I think he's having it plated, so we should hopefully have a bit more news from him in the next few days. Callum is a lot better than he was last week. That was one hell of a crash he had, and it was just amazing he was excluded for it. But that's
Yeah,
it was one of those. It's a racing accident, admittedly, but I don't think he was at fault for it. But
no,
that was it. But his injuries were, he double breaking the foot, both hands broken, thumb broken. All his knuckles are impacted. He's got lacerations between every finger, all under his chin. They actually sent him home from hospital. They didn't have any beds in the Gloucester Hospital that night. Then he had to be taken back in by ambulance in the afternoon because of the pains he was getting in his head.
Oh dear.
Had a CT scan where that was thankfully clear, but he had very bad concussion, delayed concussion. So that's the reason for him feeling the way he did.
Right.
He's feeling a bit better now. The problem being, of course, he can't go on crutches because he can't hold them.
Can't hold them, yeah.
So the poor lad's a bit stuck at the moment.
Well,
But, he's in fair spirits. I've spoken to him a couple of times over the last few days, and it's a pity because he was beginning to get his season together at the end and score some.
he was, wasn't he? Yeah, he was starting to look the part again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Obviously, send him our best wishes from the show.
Will do, mate.
And speedy recovery to him and to Danyan. While we're on the subject of injuries, we could go on all night with this, but how's Mitch, by the way?
Yeah, again, slow but sure. He seems to be, out and about, and he's been helping Craig Cook a little bit, I know, on with his machinery and mechanicking for him. He's a few meetings, so he's getting there, but it's a long road back for him.
We've got some very important meetings coming up, which we're either going to make the playoffs or we're not, and I think it's probably fair to say that we're probably not favourites now. So, have you got any ideas on guests yet? Has that been sorted?
Already sorted for every one of them. It's one of the first things David and I put our heads together, and we're going for horses for courses of the people who we know can do a job at certain tracks within the availability of the averages, etc. Losing at Stoke was a big kick to us because we expected to win there. Danny Ersel never had such a bad meeting, and all credit to Danny. He was really upset after the meeting. He sent me a lovely text after the meeting saying, "Sorry, boss, I've let you down," and it was just one of those ones. He had the chain come off when he was trying to go inside Connor Coles. His engine packed up then in 13, and then he ended up with a puncture in heat 15. You never see Danny Ayres score that little. No. John Armstrong was ill all night. He was literally after every race nearly being sick.
Right.
So he battled on. Josh had a couple of races where he was in contention and found the hole on the third bend a couple of times. So I said to him, "You know where it is. Go outside or inside it," and then he scored some points.
Right. Yeah. I have no idea whether Danny Ayres will be listening to this, but from a supporter's point of view, one thing that Danny Ayres is always known for, and whenever he's ridden for us as a guest, he's always put 110% in. So I don't think there's any fan out there that thinks other than he will have tried his hardest, and that's all you can ask
Absolutely, for. Absolutely, mate. He's never let me down, and every time I ring him up to guest, it's where do you want me?
Right. Well, that's wonderful to hear. So we've got a couple of comments on the shout box, if that's okay. Paul Wood said, "National League is not my idea of brilliant lately at Perry Bar. Too big a gap between the heat leaders and everyone else."
It'd be the same in the Elite League. I don't care what league you've got. There's gaps between the riders, and I just think the racing's been good this year.
Well, I think I've mentioned on a couple of different forums that some of the racing that we've seen this year. There was one at Kent. I think it was at Kent. No, it wasn't. It was against Buxton, I think, at home, where James Shanes basically did a slalom down the straight to get past two riders down the straight, and we've seen some incredible, outstanding riding from Leon at times that you go, whoa. So I think some of the racing's been a lot of the racing's been really good, even on some of the matches that perhaps haven't been the best.
I quite agree. I think that the standard's been very good from, as you said, some amazing stuff. Some of Shane's passes are unbelievable. Same with Daniel when he was on form. Tom's going from behind. Leon, we forget he's 15, and the things he does with that bike are quite amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. We said it. I think the first or second match, some of the guys on the track we were all saying, he can turn that bike on a sixpence. His balance is absolutely. It was the first thing that we noticed. Same thing with James Shanes, of course.
What's a sixpence?
What's a sixpence? I'm going to sack him. I really am.
You should have these youngsters in the background.
Youngsters. We've got another comment on the web box, which is from Tomo. Is the intention for the management team, yourself, David, Peter and Lee, is the intention for you all to stay on board in the current roles next year? I don't suppose you've even talked about it, have you?
Well, that's the plan at the moment. There's no difference to that. I know there's a few people who have been critical in certain respects, but they don't know what goes on in the pits.
No, well, exactly right. But I guess once you set yourself up as a team manager or a manager of any sports team, it goes with the territory a little bit, I guess.
Totally, and I've got broad shoulders, mate. I've been in it long enough. I just think back to the year I had at Middleton Hall where we used something like 27 riders and one meeting. There just wasn't there wasn't the money in the club. Mm-hmm. There wasn't the riders available, and it was a hard old season. But we just grin and bear it and get on with it.
Yeah, I mean it has been a horrible season, particularly from the injuries point of view, and I think 6 injuries. We shouldn't really be in with a chance of the playoffs, should we?
Not really. When you think about it, when we had a full team, no one could touch us.
No.
And that was the point. I went to the Coventry Plymouth match on the weekend and chatting over with Martin McDonald, and he said, "If you still had your same team, no one would touch you." Mm. And I said, "Exactly." We're going to 3 matches this weekend with on each meeting different riders in our team, and it is hard. Unavailabilities and injuries have hit us for 6.
Yeah, absolutely. But keep battling on, and
very much so. We can still do it, and I'm still under the impression now that we can pick these points up and get that vital spot for the playoffs.
Mm. Well, I mean, I think we can still do it. It's just very much in the lap of the gods, isn't it? Really.
Very much, mate. Yeah, it's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah.
And this weekend is critical.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Anyway, that's all I can say. We've got another question from Paul Wood. Well, it's not so much a question actually as a statement, really. So he says we need championship racing to bring the floaters in from Bees, Cradley, Wolves to see different teams. Our best crowd's always been in the 2nd division. I don't know.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
And as I said, nobody knows what's going to happen next year.
No.
Peter, David and I have talked about different ways of looking at it. No one knows what the structure of the National League is going to be next year. There are rumours about that. Until the meetings are all finalised and everyone knows what's what, then we'll make our decision where we're running next year.
Well, yeah, that's all you can do, isn't it? And
absolutely.
The important thing is, from a fan's point of view, all things being equal, we've got Speedway next year, and that's sort of plan 1, isn't it? That's the first objective.
Very much so. Peter and Dave haven't bought the club to shut it down after 1 year. We've got a plan that's there for several years, and we're working on that. So,
one of the things, as I've been round a few of the UA tracks, been to as many of them as I can this year, is the thing that you notice is the very different style, if I can use that word, in presentation as you go from place to place to place. And one of the things that's been put in place at Birmingham is very noticeable, very, very noticeable, is thing flows. The races happen quickly. There's entertainment for everybody in one way or the other during the intervals, and then it flows again, and then the extra racing that's been put on as well. It feels to me, and I'm guessing you're going to agree with this, that a lot of the other clubs could learn from what we're doing in all of the divisions.
I think so, mate. Yeah. We do plan it. I put a timetable together which we throw out to each other. Say, I think we want to add in, take away. We've looked at elements before the meeting. We've had Sky Adams down there on a flat track bike. We've got some Cycle Speedway boys coming down next week. We're trying to do something different, and involving the kids at the interval has been a big plus, because more and more kids are coming. which means more and more parents are coming.
Of course.
So that's good for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I've got one more question from a Mr. Alan Atherton, which I'll give you in a minute, and then after that I'm going to give you your chance to tell everybody why they should turn up for the Peterborough meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first, so Alan Atherton says, is the National League doing the job it should be, i.e. bringing through the young lads?
Well, yeah, you look at the history of what they've produced through the time. I know that the word development comes on there, but I'm in a different camp for that. I think the development leagues are the MDL, the SDL, and the NJL, bringing the real roots boys in and onwards. I still think, no, the National League is a third division properly. We have developed riders for the other leagues.
Well, I think once you start charging money for people to come through the turnstiles, it has to be a third division properly, doesn't it?
Very much so, mate, very much. If you think back to when it was the amateur league to start with, things were completely different.
Alan Atherton prefaces his comment with the Colts meeting last week at Bellevue was a great advert, so he's agreeing with you, actually.
Totally, mate. The National League produces some good racing, but again, Bellevue got the same problem as I had at Coventry as well. That the people who watch the top league won't come and watch the National League.
Yeah, it is a problem. Right, so all of that aside, I'm now going to give you your chance to tell us why we should turn up for that Peterborough meeting.
Well, several reasons. One is it's going to be a cracker to start with. Some cracking riders out there. We're using the same formula they used at Glasgow for the Great Britain v Australia test, which from all accounts was very successful. You've got 15 heats, but the last 3 heats are all nominated. It's up to the team managers then to work out who's going in which one of those races to get the advantage over the opposition. It also means that we can judge, is higher league Speedway going to be successful at Birmingham if we make that move?
So what you're telling me is you're going to have to work for your money that night.
Money? What money?
Money? Tell me about it. Tell me about
it. David and Peter listening to this? Okay. No. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, but that, I mean, I think from fans' point of view, one of the things that can be missing from Speedway, particularly when they took out the old tactical substitute rule, which I know now has reappeared in the 2 higher divisions, is the chat between fans about, well, what's he going to do here? Who's he going to put in? He could do this or he could do that. That element has sort of disappeared a little bit, and I think that adds to the meeting when you've got some sort of tactical element in that way. So I like that idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should have some sort of tactical substitution development in our league. We should have IRR if a rider's injured. And you've got your switching reserves, and sometimes it doesn't work. You look and think, right, I'm going to put him in this race, but then his clutch is apart, or he's got half his bike on the pit side there, and you think, right, I can't do that swap.
Yeah.
At Stoke on Saturday, I admit I did something which I've done in the past there. I gave Josh Embleton extra time for Heat 12 by David Holt having a problem with his bike, so that gives a little extra time. And strange enough, Graham Jury's grandson, Kyle, said to me, "You did that deliberately, Laurence." As if I would, I said, Kyle. But, the switching reserves, there have been comments about it made. Sometimes it's not worth doing. Sometimes the rider has had like 4 rides in 6 heats or something. You can't bang him out again, and again they're having problems with the bikes. You can't make the changes.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to ask you about that because I thought what was being said was spurious anyway. But do we know how much it's going to be to get in next week? Have you got that information? I've just been asked.
I can probably find it if I look on our site while I'm talking to you.
Oh, somebody's already put it up. Somebody's replied to it and put it up. But yeah, it's £16 for adults. She's put out. There you go. And there was another question a little bit higher. So I know I said I was going to let you go, but there's been questions coming.
If you need me, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was one that I think you didn't get.
Oh yeah, I know you're going to say you're not going to tell us this one, but we'll put it out anyway.
Keep fishing.
Keep fishing. Can Laurence tell us the guests for the weekend?
Will Ryan shout at me if he's not going to go in his press release?
Of course he won't.
Just between us.
Yeah,
Between us. Nobody else.
Ryan, I'm going to tell them, so hard luck. Right, when we go to Plymouth on Friday, we have Ethan Spiller, who is guesting in place of Callum Walker at 2.
Okay.
We use rider replacement for James Shanes because everybody gets a ride.
Everybody gets a ride, yeah.
Yeah, and we bring in. I've got to think in my head now. I've got 3 lots of changes in my head at the moment. We've got Tom Brennan coming in.
Right, he's done well for us before. Right, I suggest you don't tell us anymore. And they can look at the website and find
it. That's for Friday.
Out. Yeah.
So that that's not too bad. I don't think.
That's all right.
Because Ethan got 6 paid 8 there for Eastbourne Plymouth the other week. So he's a good lad. I've known Ethan, his brother, for quite a few years because I met them in Germany, and I get on very well with their parents as well because they helped us out with the Americans.
Right. So I'm going to ask you one last question, and I promise you this is the last question, and this is from me because I thought about it earlier and I promised everybody I would ask this question, which is why is it that the rules are that we can't sign a replacement for injured riders after a certain cut-off date? What's the point behind that? Because it feels like a nonsense.
I agree entirely. I think it's a complete nonsense. If you were signing a rider to strengthen your team up, okay, fine. Because it was abused a few years ago, I think, by a certain club in a higher league. So there has to be some cut-off for that. But I think when there are genuine injuries, and there are riders sat out there not getting rides, I still think we should be allowed to sign them.
Well, let's leave it at that. I think everybody can get behind that, and let's hope common sense prevails there in the BSPA and that gets sorted out.
I certainly hope so. But get yourself down there to Perry Bar next Wednesday, please, everybody.
There you go. Well, we're going to talk about that again next week. Hopefully, we'll have a few of the riders come on if we can sort that out to talk about the match. That would be fantastic. Right. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Laurence, and good luck over the weekend, mate.
Thank you very much, mate.
We're all behind you, I promise you.
It'll be a hard weekend, but worth it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks again, Laurence. You take care.
Cheers, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He's off.
Well, that went on for a lot longer than I was expecting it to. But that's down to people putting questions on the shout box. So thank you very much for that. Yeah. Shall I give you your phone back then?
Yes, please. Yeah. Thank you very much. Just make sure you haven't been
right. So we'd better do the draws. We've got 2 draws coming up.
We've got 2 draws. We'll do the first one, which was not.
Do I get the chance to?
You get the cup. You can do the first one.
Just so that anybody that doesn't know, if you've been sharing your heart off, you get a ticket put in the trophy.
Yep.
And I will pick a winner who gets a T-shirt.
All we have to do is just share the stream.
Yeah. All we have to do is share the stream.
Share the stream, and then you go into a draw next week.
So we're having two draws because we've got one from last week and then one from this week. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I'm on the ball tonight.
Tonight, we'll do next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we definitely will be here.
Right, this is the one from.
This is going to be good as the trophy appears from nowhere. Here we go.
Hang on, let's see. Look.
It's not happening.
That's the you're looking at the delayed one. So.
Okay.
Okay. Don't look.
Right.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. I can't see. I've got my glasses off. Okay, and today's winner is June. I can't understand your. I'm not going to say what I think it spells.
I'll have to look at that.
Okay.
June Hook.
June Hook.
Okay.
June Hook.
So I'll just get the others.
There you go. Oh, we got another one to go.
Got another one now.
Okay.
That was from 2 weeks ago. This one is from last week.
Just talk amongst yourselves. This is. This is great.
So let's do this so that you can
radio.
actually. We can see the trophy now. We can do
A bit of trickery here as the trophy comes floating in the air. Fantastic! You are such an idiot. And this one is Phil Kane.
Phil Kane.
So if June and Phil can just get in touch with us via.
Just message the page.
Just message the page, and we will get those T-shirts winging off to you. And I tell you what would be really great if any of these guys turn up at Birmingham Speedway and want to make themselves known to me. I'd love to take a photo of them in their shirts and put those up on the site as well. Or failing that, you take a photo of you in your shirt at your Speedway club, wherever you are, and we'll put that up on the website.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay.
I'm getting good ideas.
I was willing Wendy to be a winner then. I really was.
I should actually put one in.
Sorry.
You've got to put a name in.
You've got to
put a name in there for that to happen.
The name was in both drawers as well. So.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
So it's been a very interesting show tonight. We had a lot of questions answered about different things.
Yeah.
There's a question there about assets. And you can go a bit further up in the National League. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Paul Wood saying it was. If I remember, it was something along the lines. It's a that
one.
To have asset, well, that's Alan Atherton replying to it, saying that we can't have assets in the National League. Actually, that is not true any longer. I know that they have been very quiet about it, but on this very show, Laurence Rogers confirmed right at the beginning of the season, if you remember, that actually National League clubs are now allowed assets. I don't know how it works, but.
Okay.
So that presumably will mean that when Liam becomes 16, and if he's still riding for us, of course, he will then possibly become our asset. Although he might have ideas, I imagine he'll want to sign for Berwick. But
Laurence has just said that if it is Phil Kane, ex-Coventry rider, he's in Australia. I can go international. I've sent him international before. It's okay.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Get in contact. I'll send it over to him.
So that'd be a great photo, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no problem.
From Australia, so that would be fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope it is Phil Kane.
Yeah. Steve Richardson, come and meet the Brummies and Monarchs Cycle Speedway Club on the 12th, as well as we will be giving the demonstration on the night. Oh, that's good.
There you go. We will come and meet them. That's a long old track for them to go around.
Surely they won't use that.
Yes,
they're going, I suppose. Yeah.
I've often wondered whether it'd be an idea to put a little cycle speedway track on the centre green.
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic.
To let kids have a go at that in the break.
Yeah.
But I think possibly health and safety might play a part in
health and safety. Yeah.
So
Tom wants to know, where is Mr. Buck Dingle? Where is he?
Well, where is he?
He's on his hollybobs
again. Where's he off to this day?
Nobody has more holidays than me.
Yeah, well,
except for him,
yeah. Where's he gone this time?
Oh, I think he's gone in his gypsy caravan somewhere.
I was reading something as you said that and missed that.
Yeah, he's a bit of a pike here.
Yeah,
so
well,
there you go.
Yeah, we can talk about him, can't we? Thomas says Leon will be a Berwick asset without doubt. I think that's probably true, but maybe for training, but we get something for him. I don't know. Not that he's not doing much training up, let's be honest about it. He's come fully trained.
So Mark Phillips is goading Laurence to guess the score at Plymouth on Friday.
Come on then, Laurence.
Come on, Laurence.
Go on, Laurence. Come on. Give it a go. Guess the score at Plymouth on Friday.
He's come back with what's your prediction.
He wants to know what's your prediction, Mark.
Okay.
Well, I think you should both put your predictions up at the same time. That'll be interesting.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
So what's your prediction?
I don't know, but I'm predicting that Laurence Rogers says 75-15 to Birmingham.
Okay.
That's my prediction. We touched on it at the top of the show, and we've only got 10 minutes, but I will talk about it, which is this news that Lakeside's last match at Lakeside will be the 14th of September, and then they are moving to the Rye House track.
Okay,
so they're going to finish the season off at the Rye House track.
Right, okay. Explain that to me. Why? And why?
The why is that they're not going to have the use of that track after the end of this year.
Why?
Because the people that run the stadium, I think they're pulling it down. It's not viable. It's not going to be available.
Right, okay.
Why they're going this year, is my understanding, is that they had a small window in which to say, yes, this will come to Rye House or not. And so that's why it's happening almost straight away. But
It seems a bit of a rush.
it's sad, isn't it? You've got, I mean, Lakeside Hammers originally were the West Ham Hammers, of course. They changed their name back in 2007, I think it was. Are they going to be the Rye House Hammers now, or how's that going to work?
Okay.
Well, I mean, they are saying that, you know, it's a perfect opportunity for Rye House followers to come and see some Speedway, but will they? I don't know. Will they see it as, well, this might mean there's no chance of Rye House coming back? That's an interesting.
It's almost going down
isn't it?
like the franchise route, isn't it? Like
Well, I
American
suppose you
football,
could.
I suppose.
I mean, Rye House is the sort of track that you could run two teams at.
Yeah.
You know, because it doesn't kowtow to greyhounds, as far as I'm aware. Mark Phillips says it's going to be 48-42 to Plymouth. There we go. But what's Laurence Rogers' prediction?
He's
He's not going to put his head on the back of that, is it? I don't think.
No. When he's come back with Hoddesdon Hammers.
Wayne Holton says 46-44 to Plymouth.
Oh, hang on, Lawrence has given a prediction, because I can see it.
Okay. 41-49 to me, he says. I love the style. Which would be 4 points, of course.
Yeah.
We could do with that. That would be. I will settle for that. It could be anything. We shall see. We shall see.
We managed to get a show.
It'd be nice
tonight.
to get one off Plymouth after they beat us at our place.
Yep.
Lost two. If we'd those meetings that we lost because essentially Daniel Hume wasn't with us, and we can't cover Daniel Hume with rider replacement because of where his average pace is in. If we'd had those home meetings with Daniel Hume or been able to have a replacement, it would have. We'd be in the playoffs by now, probably second position. I'll read that statement by Mick Horton, because that's going to whet the appetite for Birmingham. By the way, this isn't just a Birmingham show or a Wolverhampton show, so everybody else, put your things up, and we can comment on Speedway worldwide. I might sometimes even know what I'm talking about. Sometimes.
Speedway, anything we'll talk about.
Wendy Jane Barnett has suggested they'll become the Hoddesdon Hammers. I quite like that.
That's a great name, that is, yeah.
That's a great name, isn't it? Have you put that statement up from Mick Horton?
Can you read that with your eyes?
Probably not. Mick Horton says, without a doubt, this is the meeting to come and watch. He's talking
Hang on,
about
let me
Coventry versus Birmingham. Thank you very much. Not only for the rivalry as a local derby, but with a playoff spot riding on the result, it is going to be tense. We know we have to win 3 of the last 4 home meetings, starting with Birmingham and Stoke on Sunday. Well, they're going to beat Stoke, and they're going to beat Buxton home and away, which is another one that they've got, and then they've got a final meeting with Mildenhall, which they won't win. It'll be a tough task, but as long as we can fit. So just show that's a very important meeting for us to get some points out of Birmingham versus Coventry. I think I might have to go to that.
I see on the right hand side.
If we're still in the playoffs, probably even if we're not still in the playoffs, because if we're not still in the playoffs, that'll be my last chance, possibly and probably, to see Tom Bacon in a Brummie jacket. And Tom Bacon has been absolutely outstanding this year. And for those people that don't like the National League, it's been an absolute privilege to watch Tom Bacon over the past 3 seasons. How he's applied himself and just got better and better just from sheer will. He's. If he's listening, I hope he forgives me this. He's possibly not the most naturally gifted Speedway rider in the world, but then I can think of another Speedway rider who said that about himself and just worked and worked and worked at it, and that was Ivan Major. So that's no small thing.
The interview we did with Tom a couple of weeks ago, cracking interview.
Nice lad, isn't he? He's a nice lad.
I see, looking at this as well, that Coventry haven't given up the idea of returning to Brandon.
No, they haven't. It's still there.
I thought it was dead in the
Well, Brandon's still there, and while it's still there, there's got to be hope, surely. I mean, it would be... Okay. Whenever Coventry ride, I want to beat them. They're almost up there with Cradley for me, but it would be fantastic to see Brandon humming again, wouldn't it?
Local rivalry.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Without rivalry, there's no... I think sport's pretty pointless, isn't it, really? Yeah.
I mean, I would say that Birmingham's greatest asset is Cradley. And you've got to say for Cradley, while we're in the same league anyway, that their greatest asset is Birmingham.
I'll just run through a few more comments before we go, because time's been. Rye House and Lakeside potentially could both run at Rye. Not a chance, lads, says Mark Phillips.
What's that about?
Probably about
this school. Well, we shall see. We shall see. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Mark Phillips. Let's up. So got a lot of time. How do you all think? No, that's it. I think that's in Swahili.
I think he's got a lot of time for how they do things at Plymouth. I think that's what he's trying to say, possibly. How far do you think Drew Kemp can go after seeing him last night? I think he is a future GP rider. I tell you who he reminds me of. First time I saw Tyler Woffenden, which was at Rye House. Could he go that far? Possibly, but we've been there before with riders that you think, wow, this is going to be, and then for whatever reason, injury or wrong advice or whatever it is, it doesn't quite happen. Potentially, he's one of the best riders in the world for his age, certainly.
How old?
We'll just have to wait and see.
How old is he?
16 now.
16, yeah. A lot of
just turned 16.
Yeah. Paul's saying that it doesn't really matter what the team's called. You know.
I've just had a wonderful thought.
Okay,
I'm wondering whether I've just worked out who the 6th rider is.
Right, okay.
I'm not saying anything, I'll tell you later,
okay.
in case I'm wrong. Okay. I don't like being wrong.
If the Warriors win at Buxton, the Old White pub stayed open until...
If it is who I think it is, that's great, by the way.
Oh, right, okay.
If it is
so
who
you're
I think
excited about something you
it'll
don't
be exciting.
know. You ain't got a clue, have you?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Mark Phillips, Rob, I need you at Plymouth on Friday, please. Okay. That's a personal message, I'm guessing.
Sounds disgusting.
Good idea what you're doing. Can you discuss other teams, etc.? Isle of Wight to do great things on the island. Credit to the sport. Yes, they do. I've seen some. I mean, they do similar things to what we do at Birmingham. Yeah. I've seen some of the pictures of the kids running around the track and so on. I don't understand. It's no-brainer. Why don't other clubs do it?
Yeah.
Why doesn't the whole of Speedway get together and say, there's this template, this is what they're doing on the Isle of Wight, this is what they're doing on Birmingham, this is a great template. The BSBA should almost say, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
You've got to show some gumption about promoting, not just relying on 7 riders going around the track and hoping they produce a great meeting. You've got to
provide entertainment. Yeah,
it's getting people involved.
Yeah.
Once people start becoming involved, they feel like belong to the place, and then anyway. Sorry. If we had teams full of Robert Lamberts, we would have packed stadiums and be on sports pages in the newspapers. He is the best thing to happen to British Speedway in years. #ruthless. And can you read out my piece about Robert Lambert? A few comments above, please, in response to that, so we can find. Yeah, because we started the show, we didn't really know what was...
no, it's the same thing, I think.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, he's just copied and pasted it. So put it
okay, so yeah, we've done that. I mean, I don't honestly know what's gone on with Robert Lambert, so I can't comment. I think he's a very exciting rider and ruthless, yes. Well, I think you need that.
Kent are another team as well that do the same sort of thing as well. Good idea what you do. Oh yeah, sorry. As I said, Kent do it. It's called effort, says Paul.
Yes,
it's true. Yeah.
Put a bit of effort in, but elbow grease. They started it at the Isle of Wight with the kids. Give them credit. Well, yeah, I think we've just done that.
Alan Alverton. What, you think promoters should promote?
How dare you? Well, that's the only criticism I could give from Graham Drury and Tony Mole, I forgot who it was for a second, is that, and I don't blame them, that they did what they've always done and always worked. Unfortunately, it needs something different, and I think Graham himself acknowledged that when he let them take over. I can't believe we've come to the end of the show. In fact, we've overrun just a little bit. Right, so keep watching the news, and we're going to endeavour to get some of the riders from both Peterborough and riding for Birmingham next week. And I do hope that 6th rider is who I've just had an idea it might be. That would be fantastic. Right, thank you very much. See you all next week. Take care.
Good night.